Welcome back to SU Gang Podcast, everybody. Today is January 9th, I believe, and the NFL season is officially come to an end. Not the full season, but the regular season, as we will move on to the playoffs. Austin and Bobby are with me. None of our NFC teams are in the playoffs, but Austin's AFC team is in the playoffs, the Buffalo Bills. So, thoughts on that, real quick, before we get started on predictions.
Yeah, really happy. I mean, in a future episode, I'll talk about it more, but defense is clutch. I would like to apologize for any doubts I had on Sean McDermott. That man has shown this last month and a half that he can coach up a defense. Miami was scoreless in that second half, and Josh Allen also, he started out really bad, but had a great bounce back, and that Deontay Hardy punt return was a momentum shifter that we needed. And congrats to Miami for blowing a 3-game division lead. I also want to give a shout out to the Tennessee Titans. They have won twice when it mattered. One, obviously, this past Sunday, beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just pissed away their playoffs from that loss. And it got the Bills and the Steelers in the playoffs. And also, the Titans beat Miami earlier, which helped us get in this situation to win the AFC East. So back to
Week
back to
14.
back to back AFC East champions. We run this division now that the Pats are done. And I will say, even though we own Miami, it's been a competitive, very competitive games. They're not cakewalks by any means. So Miami, you still had a good season. Good chance you could beat the Chiefs. So I'll get my one thing of respect to the Dolphins. Congrats to them on a good season so far. Two had a great year. And the battles are always competitive, even if some of you guys talked a lot of shit this year. So yeah, maybe we'll see the Dolphins again in the playoffs.
Yep. Bobby's team beat the Eagles, who were also in the playoffs, and then my team let the Packers clinch the playoffs. So that was pretty sad. Bobby, I know you're pretty happy. Just
Oh,
quick
I'm so
before we get
happy.
onto the predictions. Quick thoughts. No.
No thoughts?
On what? The playoffs or?
Oh no!
Oh,
The game, the Giants game.
This I have been waiting for this game for years. You guys know how much I hate the Eagles. I hate that team. Some people say I hate them more than I love the Giants. That may be true. And all the Eagles fans were crying. We didn't have our starters, blah blah blah. You know, I don't care. We may have moved down one spot in the draft, but when you get a chance to beat your arch rival any way you can, you take it and you run with it. So I am
Yes,
ecstatic.
sir.
good
Cry,
stuff.
Eagles,
And
cry.
Mal, any thoughts on the Bears loss? Unfortunately, obviously, it makes the Fields question a lot of him coming back next year a lot
I
more
think
difficult. We'll talk
I
about
think
that in
it's
future episodes. But
yeah,
yeah, any thoughts on the performance of the Bears?
it's over, man. You're talking about Fields. It's in my. I think it's over. I think you had to win this game if you wanted to stay, and it's not all on him, but I think they're gonna move on. If they are gonna move on, though, they should have already fired Eberflus and Getsy. But we'll get onto that later. It sucks. Packers are gonna be good for the next 20 years. We're gonna suck for the next 20 years. No playoff. Every year we do playoff predictions, the Bears will never be in there. So I'll just let you know that one. But speaking of playoff predictions, let's start with Austin's. So for the first game on
Oh
Saturday
wait,
night,
I'm gonna share it. Hold on. Let me share it. My bad. Also, wait, before we go, let me just say the Seahawks real quick. Our run defense was once again atrocious. We should have lost that game. If you actually watched it, Matt Prater missed a kick, and it's why we finished 9-8. We didn't deserve to be in the playoffs, frankly. We've had a good first quarter and then just got shit on. I have a lot of thoughts and questions, but main one is we need to address coaching, especially the defensive coordinator. I hate our run defense so much, and the NFC West is going to be really competitive next year. I could see the Cardinals dropping like 9 wins next year as well. The Rams are overperforming, and the Niners will still be the kings of the division. So we could see a very AFC North-esque division, kind of like this year, except the Niners will be like the Ravens and then the rest is all like 500, around 500 teams. But yeah, overall, the Bills are the reason I'm happy right now, though. So yeah, because I kind of already expected Seattle to lose. But anyway, let's get into predictions. So, all right, you guys can see that. Let me move this. You guys can't see it, but I have a bunch of windows open. All right, so we're gonna start with the AFC. Bills, the number 2 Bills, they were 5-5 a little bit ago, and now they are the AFC East champions and the 2 seed. To me, they feel like a 2 and a 7 seed at the exact same time, so this game perfectly fits them. I went with the Bills, simply put, because TJ Watt, it might not play. It would really be interesting if he did. If he was, I could see him getting a strip sack for a 6 on Allen. I would not be surprised if he is one of their main reasons they score points. But overall, the Bills defense has been really good. McDermott has been coaching them really well in this clutch stretch where they went 6-1 since they fired Ken Dorsey. And Allen is a kind of guy who can just reset himself after some bad INTs. I could see him getting picked off once or twice. They still have a good secondary. They have Joey Porter Jr., Minkah Fitzpatrick. They're still going to overall, it's going to be a really big fight. It could be boring too because the Steelers have a great defense. They seem to make everyone, no matter who they are, in a really tough defensive slugfest. So I got the Bills winning in a low scoring, potentially ugly slugfest, but I think Bills Mafia will do enough to win.
Yep.
I agree. I think it's either the Bills are going to completely destroy them or it's going to be like what you said, Austin. Low
scoring,
game,
23 to 17 final.
I wouldn't say I'd say 23 to 12 type. Like the Bills, if it's I don't know how much they would be favored by, but if it's less than a 10-point spread, I would pick the Bills to cover the spread.
Yeah, that's very fair.
And obviously home field advantage is always key.
Yeah, that is that's fair. Speaking of favorites, the Bills are minus 10-point favorites, and I will pick the Bills to win. I think it'll be lower scoring than 23 points, but I'll probably say 20 to 10 Bills. I think Buffalo at this time of the year, the weather gets ugly. Steelers, they can play ugly weathered football, but that was even a word, but yeah, I still think the Bills will be able to pull this out.
I mean, I could still see a chance of the Bills dropping 24 to 30 points, but it's the Steelers, so I'm just really cautious. I think there's a chance Mason Rudolph could have some good scores for them. So yeah, I am mentally preparing for that game to be so ugly. Anyway, next up we got the number 6 Dolphins, who are now 6 because we won the AFC East, versus I think this is the first time ever in Patrick Mahomes' career as a starter where they are the 3 seed. They have made the conference championship.
He's never played in a away playoff game.
Yeah, he's never played in a wild card. He has
played in a wild card.
Sorry, Steelers. But my point is they've always been a top 2 seed. He's always played in the AFC championship. I think this is the highest chance of the first year where he does not make it past the divisional round or even the wild card round. But it's going to be really interesting. Tyreek Hill returning to KC as one of the really good games to look out for narratives. I have the Dolphins winning. I think it's going to be narrow, but I just think with Mahomes' lack of weapons and Travis Kelce not having a great second half of the year, I could just see the Dolphins squeaking this out. I think it's going to be kind of like the Germany game earlier this year where they win narrowly. It's a narrow win. But Mahomes as a whole, just his receivers aren't helping him. So it's just I could see the Dolphins bouncing back as well from the loss at home.
I think the Dolphins, I think they win. I think.
Oh yeah, Bobby's picks are in the center, by the way.
Obviously, with the loss of Tyreek Hill 2 years ago and Travis Kelce not playing as well, the defense has been really good. I think the Chiefs receivers will hold them back in this game. I think the Dolphins they're gonna have to find some way to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes without Bradley Chubb or Jalen Phillips. But I think Tyreek Hill is gonna play with some like vengeance, and he's gonna show the Chiefs front office the worst decision they made was to trade him.
Yeah. I mean, everyone thought, oh, we don't need him. We don't need Hill. Look at what we did. We won the Super Bowl, but it's starting to kind of crash down. And the Chiefs are looking like the Chiefs we thought they would just a year
Yeah,
later.
I picked them though because I don't see Mahomes like ever being a first round exit in his life ever. Like
This could be one of those
it's
rare GOAT
like
moments.
it's like Patrick Mahomes didn't even know there was a round before the divisional round. That's how rare this is. That's how rare this is.
That
He's
is
That
like,
that
true.
is
what the hell's a
true.
wild card? That's his mentality, and I just don't see him ever being a first round exit. Like I don't see that. So I'm picking the Chiefs. I think it's going to continue. I don't know if it's. I don't know. It's just it's tradition.
You know, like the when Tom Grossi, if you guys watch him, he does the fan reactions of like teams and the Chiefs fans yawn. Well, they ain't yawning this year, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
Nope.
overall, it's just like from the amount of weirdness we have seen this year, I just think this is the highest chance we could see Mahomes being a first round exit. So I did two brackets and I had the Dolphins winning in both of them, but it's not going to be easy. Anyway, next up, we got the Browns versus the Texans, the team that traded for Deshaun Watson is coming back into Houston to play them. So, why'd you guys pick the Texans and their new franchise quarterback, CJ Stroud?
I think you go with the. Oh, sorry, man. I think you go with the like. Stroud is so good. Um, Obviously it was a mistake that the Panthers passed on him, but I think just the Texans, I like the home field. Like I think Cleveland could win this game. I think this could be the game of the week. I just think with how the Texans rallied behind CJ Stroud this year, and it's sort of been a roller coaster season, I think that I've just got a funny feeling he's going to have some insanely good game. I think it'll be like maybe like
Revenge game, kind
34
of for
30.
Texans. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
pretty sure
mean,
the Browns also beat them in Houston when they marched
they
back
did.
in there. So, like, yeah, they're trying to look for some revenge here. Yeah, Mal, your thoughts before I'm the only one who picked the Browns here.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really close and thrilling game. I just think, Houston's gonna be rocking, man. It's their first. It's 2024. Last time they had a playoff game at home was 2020, versus Buffalo, and I think that their crowd will keep it alive. I think home field advantage is very big, especially in the AFC for sure. Um,
Yeah.
I think CJ Stroud's gonna make some enough throws in big time moments to get them this game, and I think this is gonna be a great game. I'm very excited to watch this game.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, there's frankly like 4 or 5 really good games we got this wild card weekend, but I'm picking the Browns, and my main reasoning is I do think Stroud's gonna have the better performance regardless of the outcome because Joe Flacco, he's kind of like an older version of Josh Allen. He can turn the ball over while
A lot.
producing a
He's
lot of
got
touchdowns and yards. Yeah, you're right. But also the Browns have a top 2 defense, and I think the Texans did in their game. Well, it was great finish, great clutchness. They did start out hot, and then they had a lot of defensive struggle versus the Colts. And the Colts have a good like D line and stuff, don't get me wrong, but I just think the Browns are overall better. So we could see plus Stroud, it's his first game. I think he might still have a little bit of higher chance of him, like, I wouldn't say melting down. I think he's a guy who doesn't really melt down compared to rookies, but he might, feel the pressure a little bit of the moment. Um, so I just think because of how good the Browns defense is, I'm picking them to edge it out here. The Browns have also just been one of the hottest teams in the league. They've been rolling as a like arguably seen as one of the best teams that could stop Baltimore. So yeah, Browns narrowly. I could see the Texans winning too. I picked them in my other bracket. So yeah, this is just off my first bracket.
Mm-hmm.
no, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, you guys want to use the NFC?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you should do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Mount.
So
Okay.
starting Sunday at 4:30, we will be seeing the Green Bay Packers take on the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry rolled. So Austin, who do you got?
I picked the Cowboys. I think this could be another upset, though, low key, where the Packers beat them because especially if they can make Dak turn the ball over a few times, I think like for example, the Lions had a good fight with them, and the Packers beat the Lions pretty well the last time they met. So it's going to be interesting. And also the Packers just they can roll on offense. They got Wicks, they got Christian Watson, they got Romeo Dobbs, they have Jaden Reed. They have guys, any of those four guys plus Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, they have basically five, 6 weapons. They and Aaron Jones too, that could easily just go off. So I'm not doubting the Packers here at all. I could see the Cowboys choking this like they do by the divisional round. But overall, this game's just interesting. It's a Mike McCarthy revenge game, and we've also just seen historically some good games between these two. But I got the Cowboys narrowly. I think they just have a bit of the better defense. There's a chance higher chance Joe Barry's defense melts down. So I'm picking Cowboys, but I could see this being a big upset.
Hmm.
I think the Cowboys do win. I think it'll be a competitive game. Like Austin said, I think Joe Barry may have his defense just completely collapse. But I think with like this was meant to be a rebuilding year for the Packers, and I thought Jordan Love was going to be good this year. A lot of people didn't. I didn't think he was going to be good, but I thought he was going to be decent, and he's going to get the playoff experience he needs to build off this season. So I think it'll be competitive, but I think the Cowboys win, and they're so good at home too. So yeah, Cowboys.
Yeah, I think it'll be the same. I think Jordan Love will keep competitive. He's a really good quarterback. I think I predicted this about like last night. I said the Packers are going to win Super Bowl 60, so basically in 2 years. Because in Aaron Rodgers' third season, he won the Super Bowl, and that would be Jordan Love's third season. So yeah, but he's gonna have this experience, and he'll learn from it. But I think the Cowboys are gonna narrowly come away with this victory. However, I won't be surprised if Packers win because Mike McCarthy, he likes to lose to his former teams, especially remember Week 10 of last year.
Yeah,
Versus the Packers.
Picks. Rudy Ford, I think
they choked. Yeah, he had 2 picks, and I think the third. I don't think he threw 3 picks. I'm not sure.
I think he did.
Yeah, but anyway, moving on to Sunday night.
Rams.
The Lions playing the Rams.
Stafford's homecoming game to Detroit.
Stafford's homecoming game, but Jared Goff's revenge game on the team.
That is true.
So
I've been excited for this game for so long, dude. Also, back to the Packers real quick. This might just be me, but I feel like without Rodgers, they're a much more likable team. So I really like those young guys. And if they upset, I'll just say, hey, congrats to them. But anyway, Lions Rams. I picked the Rams. I'm the one outlier here. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. They're both gonna be evenly matched, but I just think Goff has the chance to turn the ball over more, and potentially Dan Campbell going for it when he doesn't need to. So I just think the Lions have a higher chance to make the first mistake. I feel like that's what this battle is going to be about, whoever makes the first big 1 or 2 mistakes. And I just think the Lions have goofed some stuff up. Jared Goff has turned into Jared Goof a few times, and Stafford is a little more experienced, and they're looking to run the table into the playoffs. I think they're a dark horse team you don't want to mess with. So I'm picking the Rams here.
Yep. I picked Detroit. I think it can go either way. Like it's the first playoff game at Ford Field, and I think it's the Lions are gonna lean on their 2 running backs. I think it also comes down to, like Austin said, with the turnovers by Jared Goff, who makes the most mistakes. Like what was it, week 17? The Rams played the Giants, and Stafford and the Rams turned the ball over 3 times. So, and the game came down to the wire. So I think it's really just whoever makes the least mistakes. But before, like I said, anything can happen in the playoffs. So I would not be surprised if the Rams win. but I think it's going to be
You
a
and I
good
agree
game.
on the same thing. It's whoever makes the most mistakes, but we have different views on who will potentially make the first mistake. Interesting. All right, Mal, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I just think Detroit's going to be rocking, man. I mean, it's their first playoff game since 1991, back when the NFC Central was a thing, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Um, and not only that, but I do think like the mistakes are going to be a big factor. I know Jared Goff, he can play like Jared Goof and he can turn the ball over, but let's not act like Stafford doesn't like in a full season he can average like 15 picks a year. He'll make it up for a bunch of touchdowns and a bunch of yards. But I think he can make a couple mistakes, especially on the road. Lions crowd's going to be very loud and it'll disrupt their offensive communication. So I think a couple mistakes will be made by the Rams, but it'll be a thrilling game, and I think it'll be a close one.
All right, next up we
Yeah.
have the battle of potentially very shit. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who won 9-0 over the Panthers to win their division. Fourth year in a row they're making it. Only team NFL to do that, and the last two seasons were 8-9 and 9-8 because the South has been a pile of hot, steaming garbage. And we have and their coach could still get fired. I don't know if he will, but anyway. And the Eagles, who started out 10-1, they went 1-5 ever since. Bobby is a very happy man that this team is just shitting the bed. Both these teams are going into the playoffs kind of on an ugly. I don't want to say an ugly foot. That's a really bad metaphor, but my point
Because
is they're
the
both
Bucks have
walking
won.
in from ugly outcomes, especially the Eagles. So, yeah, I'm still picking the Eagles just because I think there's a higher chance they could turn around. To be honest, I don't really know. I don't know here. This is a battle of a potentially really good game between two teams trying to bounce back, or just a battle of shit.
Yep.
No, that's fair. I mean the Bucks, yeah, they've won 4 out of their last 5. I think or what was it? Yeah, no, 5 out of the last 6.
Mm,
They've been playing well, but it's like there's always something with the Eagles that they always find some, like I've seen many times before, where they've just pulled some magic and they win the game. But I hope they lose. It would be hilarious to see them lose this game. And I hope they do, but I'm just not confident in the Bucks.
I was
all right,
thinking
Mal, your
about
thoughts?
yeah, no, I was thinking about picking the Bucks, but I think I'm gonna stick with Philly. I do think they have the best chance to turn around. And yes, they did lose to the Giants obviously last night, but I think with that Bucks performance versus the Panthers, all field goals on a team that's not very talented. Yeah, I don't know if you can do that on Philly, and let's not act like the Bucks home field is going to be that big of a factor because there's going to be
Because
a lot of
Eagles
Eagles.
fans travel well.
They travel
That's
very
very
well.
true. Yeah.
It's going to be like 50-50 Bucks and Eagles fans. So that's not even going to be a factor on them. They're going to play fine. I think it's going to be closer. I don't think it's going to be like how it was last time on Monday Night Football, 25-11. I think there will be mistakes made. I think it'll be a little bit low scoring, but I think the Eagles will be able to come away with a close one.
It's
Yeah.
fair.
No, fair, very fair.
All right.
I just want to see them
Also,
lose.
I want to shout out a few facts real quick. This is the first time all three Lake Erie teams, the Bills, Browns, and Lions, all made it in the same season, postseason. First time since 1994 that the Browns and Lions made it together. Obviously,
Crazy.
the first time since like 1992 that the Lions won their division, which was the Central at the time, as Mal mentioned. And also, it's the first time the Texans, Browns, and Lions all made it together. So we're seeing some unprecedented, like first time for everything teams together. And also, we are seeing, frankly, 4 to 5 really good matchups. Like, I think the anticipation for these playoffs are some of the best I've seen in a while. Hopefully, it can be like Super Bowl 56. I feel like the playoffs to that Super Bowl were some of the best I've ever seen since I've been
Oh,
a big
100%.
fan. Yeah. So,
The
like,
divisional
my
round,
point is,
all of
yeah,
them.
the divisional was classic. And at championships were also like pretty classic, really good too. A couple shitty wildcard games, but I think still overall great. So I'm hoping the anticipation and hype can just match the anticipation and hype can be matched by the games we see. So we'll see. But this season has been really weird and interesting, and I'm excited to
Yeah.
see how the Super Bowl lines up. So anyway, without further ado, that is our predictions. More content coming out soon, and see you next time.